Welcome to Fox 8 Extra. I'm Stefani Schaefer. Today we're talking about a very special organization that makes sure kids of all abilities have a chance to participate. Their motto, included always. Back in 2009, Rec2Connect was founded with just 2 clients, 2 participants, and since has become a foundation, helping hundreds of people every year right here in our area. Today I'm joined by the founder and executive director of the organization and my friend, Jen Knott. She is also the wife of Fox 8's Andre Knott. And also please welcome Amy Upchurch, whose son is a participant also with Rec2Connect. Thank you both for being with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
So I'm so excited to have you on because we've got this big fundraiser coming up in a few days, so we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. But tell us, Jen, about Rec2Connect. This is something that is obviously near and dear to your heart. You founded it, but your background, you found that there was a need for this.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm a recreation therapist. I worked in schools and hospital settings prior to founding Rec2Connect. And I found that we were doing really great work during the day, during the school day or during inpatient stays, but when people were going home, I didn't really have many places, if any, that I could say you could continue recreation therapy through this organization or that organization. And at the time, my passion lied in aquatics. I loved aquatic therapy. I loved the magic of what the water could do. And really there was nowhere that I could send people in the community to access that. And so I started seeing people on the side, one person, which then turned into 2. And both of those families really pushed me, along with my family, to start Rec2Connect, to provide that access for everybody, not just those 2 individuals.
That's amazing. And you know the area very well. You grew up here. You're not a transplant, so it's not like that you just didn't know that where to start looking, but you did. You grew up in Green, and you know there was a need for this.
Absolutely. And I have a cousin who had autism, and so I saw growing up as well the differences in the access I had to recreation opportunities. For me, it was abundant, you know, and for my cousin, it was not. So I saw from a very young age that there was a difference in access, and I just always felt like that wasn't how it should be. It should be that everybody should have access to that. And so I'm grateful that I would have never known the path led me this way, but I'm grateful that this is where life led me.
So amazing. And I think for anyone, the people who benefit the most would be those kids that need that to really help them bond with other kids, feel empowered that they can achieve all of this stuff. I mean, really, this is the group of people that really need it the most.
Absolutely, because what I was finding too was that if any of our participants were trying to go into a rec center and access swim lessons or basketball, or they want to kayak, they want to rock climb, whatever it may be, that most times they were getting turned away because they were not able to provide those services. Wow. And then our services are meant to be an extension of physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. So not only are we working on access to the recreation, we're also working on what does the individual need as a whole. Do they need work in balance and motor planning and fine motor skills? And how do we use recreation to bring that to them? So that it's enjoyable, it's fun, it's not constant work. They're going to have to work all of their lives, on these skills. It's not something that's going to stop at any point. So we want to be able to provide a fun way to do that.
Beautifully said. I mean, really, truly beautifully said. And Amy, tell us about your experience. You're kind of new to Rec2Connect.
The past year. So I have a son. His name is Evan. He was my firstborn. And in a nutshell, Evan was born extremely, extremely premature at 1 pound, 3 ounces. And that left him with a constellation of lasting physical, developmental, neurological issues. So that, in short, everything needed to be taught. So if we were to look at, he came home at 6 months, he needed to be taught how to eat, he needed to be taught how to breathe, he needed to be taught how to roll over, walk. So our life was really immersed in all of those therapies that Jen was just talking about. And you don't see someone once a week, a specialist or a therapist, and then say, okay, you're good to go till I see you again. These are daily activities to move the ball forward for a lot of these kids with neurological differences. So when I came to Jen, I now have a 17-year-old, very accomplished, amazing young man, but he's a typical teen in many ways, and he would be okay just not doing things that his friends weren't doing. But at the same time, I needed activities to piggyback on that whole list that Jen was just saying, and even more social emotional learning. I need them to be behaviorist. I need all of this suite of services, because we can't just go and spend our time on fun. As great as that sounds, we have so much catch up to still do to shore up these lacking skill sets. So when I came to Rec2Connect, it was really, as a mom, how can you help me with this Rolodex of therapies that he continues to need, but he's a 17-year-old boy and he doesn't want to feel like he's working, like Jen said, for the rest of his life. And so my deal with him was, can you try out some activities, and how would this feel for you, and could you see yourself joining these things? And so he said, yeah, I can try out some things. It just so happens that his greatest fears, because he has a lot of vision loss and a lot of balance issues, his greatest fears are heights and drowning. And the two activities that he picked and has stuck with for the past year are rock climbing and kayaking.
Wow, he has definitely tackled his fears. That's can you believe it?
Sometimes I sit back and through Rec2Connect and his therapist in rock climbing, he was able to achieve his first outdoor climb. And there was a suite of us watching him, and I had to go back in time to the NICU and say, it's gonna be okay, Mama, look at this, look what is happening in front of you. So accessibility is, having things available is just a fragment of having recreation available to kids like this. It takes the bridging to the activity, and that means chunking and pulling in all of those therapies to bridge him to even just the act of getting on a wall.
You are amazing. That is just so incredible. What a story. How did you find out about Rec2Connect and Jen and Andre and I?
Okay, that's actually an interesting story in and of itself. He saw them. So I'm a big proponent of therapeutic water therapies and therapeutic recreation myself. And so, of course, he's in the pool with Mom and we're doing laps. And he was witnessing a Rec2Connect class going on. And he was like, I would rather be in their class. I'm like, yeah, shh.
Like, come with me.
But she was really generous, and she kind of threaded us in, the therapist at the time.
Oh, wow.
And so he was like, I want to join that program.
Oh,
so that was when we
wow.
started trying to fit it in and jump in, and took us a hot minute, because it's an in-demand service and classes, and like I was told when I reached out to Rec2Connect, that once people get their spot, they covet those spots. I know I covet my spots with him in his classes, and so.
Wow, I have goosebumps. It feels like that was definitely a God wink moment, that you were at that place at that very moment to be introduced to this great group.
100%.
How is Evan doing now, and how do you feel it's helped him in the last, it's only been a year, but.
It has been a year, and like I said, he started out very trepidatious and very cautious with these things. I went to talk to Jen about where they were headed and what they were doing, and to thank her for what this had meant to my family. And so I sat down with him and I said, Ev, help me bring a message to Miss Jen. What would you tell her that Rec2Connect has meant to you? And he thought about it, and he's like, well, it's my happiness. And I was like, okay, well, but what does that mean? Like, your happiness, what does your happiness mean? And he said, well, it's like light and joy. And I was like, well, what brings you light and joy? And he said, well, I love Courtney. That's his therapist.
I was saying, who's Courtney?
Courtney is the director of the climbing and kayaking program,
Wow.
and she is his therapist within these programs. And so I said, yeah, we all know that, but what does loving Courtney mean for you in these programs? And he sat and he thought about it, and he said, well, it connects me to everything and everybody.
Wow.
And when he said that, as a mother, knowing I had a long, long road of connecting him, not just to his own body, but not just to his environment, but to the community and society at large, that word, when he used it, she connects me to everything. That really, as his mother and as someone well more experienced, to hear that from somebody beginning his life, both of us have found the same shared experience with them in different ways. It fills his bucket and it fills mine.
Wow. I mean, this is just so well said. Jen, that has to make you just feel so emotional and validates all the hard work that you did, and then and seeing that there was just such a need for that, and that you're really helping these young people.
Absolutely. When Amy and I met, it was just last week that we met, and that she told me that, it brought tears to my eyes, and it did again, because that is the connection part. I mean, our name is Rec2Connect. So when I was looking into naming it, I'm not the creative person in that space, my brother is, and so I said to him a list of words of, here's what this organization would mean to me and what I want included in our name, and recreation and connection were the two biggest words that I said, and so that's where Rec2Connect came from.
Yeah.
And so it brought such emotion out of me last week to hear that, because what I, almost 20 years ago, wanted for Rec2Connect and for people in Northeast Ohio to experience through this organization, that 20 years later, that's happening. And it's through Courtney, it's through Lyndon, it's through Sarah, it's through Aaron, it's through everybody else that works with Rec2Connect, that we're still bringing that feeling, that experience, that connection to everyone, ages 6 months all the way through adulthood, through recreation.
Well,
so
and
that
that's
just
what,
means the
because
world.
with you saying Evan is 17, I was hoping that then at 18 it doesn't stop.
No, and that was intentional. I mean, when I started this, the two people I started with were 3 and 10. Now one is in their 30s, the other is 20.
And they're still part of it.
And they're still part of it
that's so
every
great.
single week. They're rock climbing, they're kayaking, they're still swimming. They have their spots still that they had, 20 years ago. They're still having those same spots. And so then we've expanded to seniors and adults and veterans. And so we're serving as many people in the community as we can that need these services, because it's not just kids that aren't able to access it. It's people, and all of us one day may have a disability as we age. And so making sure that we're there to meet them where they're at, no matter what the disability is, what their ability is, what their age is. We want to be there.
I admire you so much, and you're so inspiring, Jen, because you saw a need and you worked so hard to make it happen. A lot of us see a need for things, but then 20 years ago, you started laying the groundwork for this, and it's incredible. We know it is hard to get in, as you mentioned, Amy, but there are opportunities to include everyone, because that's what included always is. You do 3 fundraisers a year. Tell us about those, and then we're really going to dive into the upcoming one right after this break. But go ahead, you do 3 fundraisers.
We do 3. So in April, we do a swim-a-thon. We started an adapted swim team early on. So after aquatics kind of took off, we then started a swim team. So the swim-a-thon really goes to support our adaptive swim team. They compete locally, they compete nationally. They're a Paralympic and USA swim team. So people can move through our services, and then if they want to compete, they can. If they just want to come to practice, they can do that as well. But we wanted to provide something beginning to end, and the swim-a-thon really helps that. And then in June, we have a golf outing. So this will be our 6th annual golf outing coming up this year. In June, we are at at golf course in Northeast Ohio, and so that's our second one.
That's awesome, and that's a big one.
That's a big one, and that one came out of the pandemic after trying to figure out what can we do, how do we serve people. Golf seemed like the natural thing because it was outdoors.
Right.
And then our third is our celebrity bartending event, which is what's coming up November 13th. Being early on, Andre and I started talking of how could he get involved and help with this, and what are his connections within the community, and how could we really help support what we were doing. And so that's where this idea came from of why don't we bring local celebrities to a bar. They can bartend, they can mingle, take pictures, have fun, play games, and raise money for a great cause at the same time.
Oh, it is awesome. We're going to tell you all the details about this great celebrity bar event that's coming up in a few days. So make sure you stick around, because we're going to tell you about that and how it involves some members of our Fox 8 family also. More of Fox 8 Extra with Rec2Connect when we return. Welcome back to Fox 8 Extra. I'm joined again by Jen Knott, who is the founder of this wonderful organization called Rec2Connect, and Amy Upchurch. Thank you both for being with us and spending some time with us. Amy, I would just want to start off with you because during the break, you were just telling me a little bit about even Evans, your son, who is 17 and has been with Rec2Connect for the last year in kayaking, rock climbing, and how it's really made improvements, obviously not just with him and his excitement at home and feeling like he's really part of something that's special, that means so much to him, but
for sure.
his doctors are
for
saying,
sure.
this is amazing, just his motor skills and everything.
I think only another mom can hit that. Like, if you can take something that becomes precious to a 17-year-old boy, he loves going back to school and telling everybody like how high he got in rock climbing, or can they meet him on the bridge at Coe Lake to see him kayaking.
What an achievement!
But for sure, he's very proud of the activities themselves. But yes, we have been going through the transition period into adulthood, and that means you've got to really kind of lay out what the path ahead of you looks like, and to call out all your needs and support and start labeling and naming those things. And as we began to talk to specialists and neurologists, he's put through a battery of tests. And I was watching him go through one. It's like, take your right hand and touch your nose, now touch my left finger, and all of these different things. And I'm just watching him on the wall, and Courtney say, Evan, you gotta connect your eyes to your left hand and your right foot's over, you know. And so as he pulls him through these battery of tests, his fine motor skills and his strength is just incredible for someone with his diagnosis and his trajectory in life. And he was just like, wow, not bad for, and I thought, well, right, we've been in rock climbing for a year.
Wow, and there's that is so eye-hand coordination and so much to it that he's not even realizing what he's building.
No, that's my gift.
He's thinking of his goal to get as high as he can.
He's thinking of how cool he is on the wall and how he's going to get social time with somebody else next to him is what he's thinking about. But I'm having to think about those things, about how are we going to skill build for life and give him skills that are going to give him the best life possible.
And then you're giving him friends too, and another whole new social gathering
That's
of people.
another one of the strong byproducts of Rec2Connect. And so they utilize Cleveland Rock's climbing gym. And I was watching last week one of the owners take someone new through the gym, and he said, oh, tonight we have our inclusive climbing group, but he had ownership of Rec2Connect. And when Evan goes in and checks in, he does that independently. He doesn't use me. He goes straight in, works with everybody at the desk, goes and finds his climbing group. I could drop him off and not even be there. I do it for the joy of seeing him succeed, but he's independent in his community. And there are different behaviors. Like, I think if I was a young professional in their climbing and this was my time in the gym, I don't know how I would feel about seeing a 17-year-old literally swing from their rope and belay and yell, wee. But they cheer him on and the environment. So just having them, just having Rec2Connect in the gym has made such a warm, inclusive environment in the community, which is another bridge in life.
Yeah, I think the world is changing on that and becoming more compassionate for that and supportive for everyone.
Yes.
Again, their motto, included always. And I think you're helping everybody around your surroundings. So we need to raise money to keep these great programs going. And you mentioned the golf outing and also the swim-a-thon. And so tell us about what's just around the corner with the big 11th annual celebrity bartending fundraiser, which is so fun, but you don't even have to attend it on the 13th. You can still participate too in really fun ways.
Absolutely, yeah. So you can go on our website, rec2connect.org. It has all the information that will take you to the event site. If you are not able to attend, we have local bartenders, our celebrity bartenders. So a lot of, like you said, our Fox 8 family is on there. So we have Natalie Herbeck, we have Gabe Spiegel, Andre Knott. Tracy McCool, Nicole Marcelino.
Oh, great, yeah.
So all of them will be competing against a variety of, some of our staff are on there, some of our board members have joined the competition.
Great.
Other local celebrities have been a part of this, Hayden Grove and Austin Love and Michael
yeah.
Alio, and I mean the list just goes on and on. We have so
Yes.
many bartenders this year. So you could vote through your donations to them, and whoever raises the most is our Celebrity Bartender of the Year. They get a trophy. We will announce it night of, and all the proceeds go back to Rec2Connect. So that's one way online that you could participate. We have our 50-50 raffle you could do online. We have silent auction items that you can bid on. You don't have to be there for. All of that can happen online, and then you could donate. We
great.
have different Fund the Need items. So this year we are supporting our fitness programs. We provide a variety of, on top of rock climbing, kayaking, we do cardio drumming, we have an adapted pedaling class, an adapted spin class, a fitness class, we have an adapted cheerleading class. We also have a Connect and Move class that's a gross motor class for younger children. So all of the proceeds will go to, in our Fund the Need, help that program, all of those programs succeed. So you can donate to that as well.
It's grown so much over the years. I mean, I just, you are inspiring that you found this, and for so many people, and are connecting so many people. If someone is watching this saying, I have a loved one that I know would benefit so much, are there any requirements? How do they go about connecting with you?
So you can go to our website, rec2connect.org, or any of our social media. And on our website, there's an intake form. There's also our phone number they could call. They could email. There's an email address that goes directly to our scheduling team.
Great.
Everyone is welcome. I think that was one of the biggest things when I started Rec2Connect was that the first family that I started working with, they wanted to get their child into many things, but kept hearing no. No because he has a vision impairment, no because he's not potty trained, no because he has balance challenges, no because he has behavioral challenges. So they would think they found their place and then continue to hear no again and again and again. And so when I started Rec2Connect, that always was in my mind, is that like we will just say how. Like, how do we do this? Yes, we will find a way. We want everyone to be included. If you found us, that probably means you hit 17 or more no's before you got to us. So if we say no, then who is going to be able to do this? So that is our mission and our life's work, is that we figure out how. We figure out, yes, we can. We just need to be creative and figure out how we can be helpful.
How? And if there are any people who own any kind of recreational places that you were thinking, wow, I would love this, reach out to them also. We can only make this bigger.
Absolutely. And that's our hope, is that we're in more places and spaces, and big time goal is that we would love a place of our own one day. There's many places outside of Ohio that have rec centers that are designed specifically with people with disabilities in mind as a priority. And they're open to everyone. It's universally designed, it's inclusive, but people with disabilities are the people who are getting the best times for those programs, and who are getting the space that they need and the times they need, and then the welcoming party of people that are there to help you and welcome you when you come. And that's really what we want as we go forward, is a rec center of our own that can provide that for the whole community.
Building up, I love you. I love that everything that you have created. Amy, you sharing your story has been wonderful, and please give Evan a big hug for us. And I'm so happy he's found his place.
I am too. Thank you very much.
God bless you both. Thank you. And your kids are getting so big. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. They're adorable. Thank you. Appreciate you both being with us. For more information, you can go to fox8.com. We'll link you with everything. Again, Rec2Connect's 11th annual celebrity bartending fundraiser is happening on Thursday, November 13th, 6:30 to 9:30 at the super cool, fun place Collision Bend Brewing Company. And again, it's just helping this wonderful organization, Rec2Connect. We're only hearing just the beginning of this, because in 20 years it's grown leaps and bounds, and I'm just excited for the future.
Thank you.
Really, truly. Go to fox8.com, look under Seen on TV for more information, and we can link you to Rec2Connect. Thank you both for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We'll see you again next week. So long.